So I'm going on 8 months now, a little over 8 months that I've been a full nomad. Meaning about 8.5 months ago, I sold my condo and I started to live full-time out of my car. I live out of a Jeep Renegade. It's been so far a great experience. There's always little, things that you have to work on and get better, and it's a little bit of a downside, but overall, very great experience. So what I want to share right now is the nomad life equals no rush. What does that mean? That means when I had a condo, when I had a house, there would be a certain time in the day, 4 or 5 o'clock, I look at my watch and I'd be like, oh, I got to get home. Oh, I got to get to the supermarket so then I can get home, so then I can take a shower, so then I can put all the groceries away, and so then I could, vacuum. And having that home for me, at that point in my life, and I'm thankful for my home for the years I had it, I always want to be fair, but it had gotten to the point where that season was over. The mental, this is what this video is mainly about, the mental relief of no rushing. That's what the nomad life has provided me. So at the end of the day, if I'm at the beach, or if things are running later at work, or if I have to go visit someone, or whatever the case may be, I don't have this shot clock that goes off in my mind that, like, you got to leave because you got to get home now. To get home now because, you have to shower, you have stuff that you left out that you have to put away, and, this needs to get done, that needs to get done around the house, because always something needs to get done around the house. And so even if I want to leave whatever event I'm at, I could do whatever I want. I could go and find a spot where I'm going to relax and lay down in the car, or I can go and, but not having to go back to that fixed location causes me not to have to rush. And not having to rush is a huge mental relief. The periods in my life where I've been the most angry, where I've made the most mistakes, is when I have rushed. Rushing to get here, rushing to get there, all because I got to get back to this point at the end of the day, and, etc., etc. Waking up in the morning, I gotta take a shower, then I gotta clean up a little bit, then I gotta put on my clothes, then I gotta, put my old clothes in the hamper, in the laundry fixings, and then, it's that rush. Now, there's always going to be some rush of life, right? Because we live in an imperfect world. But I've eliminated, the nomadic life has eliminated a huge part of that rush. And not rushing adds to a better quality of life for me. The mental relief, and I'm talking, this is mainly a mental thing. Also physical, because, again, I'm not tending to a property. But the mental relief of just not having that shot clock in my mind is a blessing. And that's what I'm sharing here. Because there were days, like the last year or so, that's when I know the season of my life for having a house had ended at that point. And definitely that size of condo house. Because there would get a certain point in the day where I know I had to get home, and that mental burden would start to press too hard on my head, and I just knew something was right. As I'm saying, you may be watching these videos, and they may or may not apply to you as far as if you want to be a full nomad. But what I will say, this is a general principle that you can apply to any area of your life. Everything in life changes as seasons change, as you get older, as different circumstances in your life change. You will know that it's time to change when this happens. There will be a pressure on your spirit that something isn't right. And that no matter what you do to try to make it a little bit better, it just can't get better. And so it's time to change. Because if you don't change, the suffering gets greater. And when I had made that change, and when I had become a full nomad, I felt that spirit of rush eliminated. Now you feel a little bit of fear, a little bit of being scared because you're doing something new, so understand that. But after you get past that, then there's the joy. And when I look at my clock at the end of the day, or whatever time of the day, I'm never rushing. Because I know I have full flexibility, and I don't have to go back to a certain location. And that is a huge mental relief. Nomadic life equaling no rush. I see people rushing around every day, and my heart goes out to them. They're going from this store to that store. They're cutting people off on the highways, etc., etc. And I understand why, so it's not even a judgment. Sometimes I have to catch myself, because I'm saying, this prick just cut me off. And I say, Sam, you remember when you were in that season of your life, and you had a tough day at work, you had to get home to take care of your dog, You know, you had to clean your house and everything. All that weighs on people's mind. I'm not making excuses for being a jerk, but I also have to have compassion that I don't want to sit in judgment of them now because I don't have that level of pressure on me. So I want to have compassion on them and on anybody that's watching this that's still in that life. I just want you to know there is a better way. It doesn't have to be. Please don't put pressure on yourself to be me. Don't be anybody in life. Be yourself. That's always my whole message too. But I'm sharing my journey. I'm being myself, and this has been a huge mental relief. You know, not having to rush around and seeing all these other people that are rushing around and how miserable they are. Whether you have a house or whether you don't. You know, if you feel a need for change, whatever change is for you, and whatever your desires for your life are, I would encourage you to do it. And so for me, as I reflect on almost 9 months living out of my car, living out of my Jeep Renegade, one of the number one assets, one of the biggest assets, is just a lack of rushing. And that lack of rushing has added a joy to life, because we know life is imperfect down here and it can hurt us a little bit mentally and emotionally. So I'm thankful for that. I want to document that, and I'm just sharing my journey. So wherever you are in your journey, I pray that you stay inspired and keep pushing forward.